And welcome back to ScavTalk, everyone. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing a recent patch from BSG themselves. Surprise. They did some bug fixes, a few quality life updates, and some new tech got pushed. As well as just a couple hours ago, we got a BSG Tarkov TV cast where Nikita and the team got to share some of the upcoming features, which we're very excited to talk about. So yeah, Giga, let's just jump straight into the patch that dropped prior to the cast, which is interesting. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh," everyone perked up for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I think these things seem to be quite unrelated because this patch is very technical in nature, which is quite good. I mean, we could go through the few things that are important. I mean, the first line on the patch notes is upgraded NVIDIA DLSS to version 2.5.1 and AMD FSR to version 2.2. Now, I don't know whether you've jumped into the game, had to play around with it. I know that you're kind of on a hiatus, so you may not have. But I have extensively been using DLSS because I've been doing lots of stuff trying to optimize performance and that kind of thing right now. The big problem that we had before with DLSS was the scopes thing.
Yes.
You used to scope in and it was like, 360p YouTube's having a problem inside the scope. Whereas like outside it's, your normal res and everything was just like super weird. They've fixed that. I have a feeling that they just don't use, because it's picture in picture, right? It's two renders. So I have a feeling that they just don't use DLSS inside, and it just is a normal game.
That's what I've heard. Was that? I might have heard it from you actually.
Maybe on my stream, because it's what it looks like to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they've done with it. But either which way, it looks really good. I've been having DLSS on balance for a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Broadly speaking, it was weird. It's sometimes certain maps and sometimes it gives me like tons of FPS on the new CPU. On other maps like Lighthouse, it seems to give me about 10 FPS. But the one thing that it does do is that insert, and I'm still playing around with it. It's like it's very it's very tricky to figure out exactly like when the different conditions mean what. Because when I first put it on Lighthouse, I was running, because I've been running into some GPU problems, just like doing the multi-stream stuff, and my GPU usage is like really like right up there, like 98% or something.
Yeah.
When I stuck DLSS on, it dropped it down to like 60%.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy, that's so good. So good. And it doesn't look that much worse in game. It's like I wouldn't necessarily say that it even looks bad.
It should look better.
Like it just looks kind of like different. Mm-hmm. It's like not necessarily better or worse. Like the main thing when I was on reserve testing it was like in the normal game, because it's a different mode of anti-aliasing as well, right? It's like anti-aliasing is handled within DLSS, which is quite interesting. So having the TAA high, the regular game version on, that made stuff close up look okay, but things far away were just like not render properly. Like wires and stuff just don't render. Having DLSS on actually made like close up like cabling and things like that like shimmer a bit, but the far stuff looked really, really good. So I was like, that's kind of weird. It's like a bit of one, bit of the other. I couldn't really tell. And then, but then when I used it like another time, then my GPU usage was still quite high. So I was like, I'm not really sure. I've got other stuff going on, so I'm not necessarily the best person to like benchmark this stuff, right? Because I've got like freaking like recording going on over here, like 2 streams encoding over here. Like my GPU is basically like creaking under the weight of everything I'm asking it to do on a single machine, and it's playing the damn game. It's got like all this stuff going on at the same time. So I've like been tweaking all of that and optimizing those things to make the streams work. But either which way, I'm using it with it on. It does seem, the general effect seems to be some more FPS, maybe loads more FPS, but a decrease in broad GPU usage for like really no decrease in quality as far as I can tell so far. The one thing I want to test it with is the DLDSR to have like the upscaling as well, because that was like the original Chipper video that we talked about ages ago, and that always looked really, really good. I did actually try it a little bit and it looked amazing, but then I got a bit worried about my performance problems, so I turned it off temporarily. And also like it's actually a complete ball ache to turn on and off. And it makes the screen get like a full screen mode is weird anyway. Yeah, and when you've got like the DLDSR thing on, it's just like the whole monitor is just like, oh, I'm a funny res, and then you try and alt tab, and it's like,
yeah, it gets
a bit confused.
It can actually. The issue I had with it, which I really couldn't find a good workaround, was because I use a third party app for chat. It's just like a separate, app, and it's a window, but it's not full screened or anything. And that, just have it on top of OBS on the side, but then when you enable DLSS and it does the resolution weird thingy because the app is set to be always on top, it like repositions behind the main monitor. So I have to like then slide it in like a weird off position and then I'll tab back in and then it will slide.
It goes in the right place.
Yeah,
Oh god.
it's really janky and then it doesn't really work. It just gave me a headache, so I kind of had to get rid of it.
Fair enough, yeah. That's the big issue with it. But anyway, so even without that, it still looks really good. I think like I don't know, I'm kind of, fiddling around the edges anyway. Like it hardly matters. The game looks really good anyway. With DLSS. To be honest, now with this updated version, I did try the other ones a little bit. I had to like play with them. None of them seemed better than DLSS. The FSR one didn't seem to really do that much for me in general. But I didn't play with it extensively. I like turned it on a little bit, had a look, but DLSS seemed to be better for, if you got an NVIDIA card, it seems DLSS is super good. So that was that. I mean, I'm pleased. I'm pleased that they fixed that because it was basically unusable with the scopes thing. So they've like put all this work into adding DLSS, and then no one can use it because like if you want to use any LPVOs, you just can't, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased. I'm glad that it's working, and yeah, I'm using it on balance. I mean, I haven't tried quality, I haven't tried performance yet. So we'll see. There's just like there's so many levers to pull now for me that it's just like it's actually just crazy. I was like fiddling around with MIP streaming as well, and like the changing the textures and stuff. I've been trying all sorts of stuff. It's just like it's nutty. But anyway, so that's good. That's really, really good. I'm loving it.
They buffed smoke grenades by 30%, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I had a quick look. I mean, it's quite a big buff. I think the speed could still be slightly faster, but I mean, it's all right to begin with. It depends if you want to do. I'm just trying to think of uses for it. Like, I really want to try and use them and then like make something about it because I think that'd be really fun. Because like the smoke grenades just haven't seen the light of day for years, right? It's like the only time they ever got used was back when you thermals could see through them, which they've changed since, so they now can't. So that was the only like good use for them. You could just like fill dorms with smoke and then go around with the thermal and kill everyone, which is kind of fun. But now they're just like nothing. But yeah, I'd like to find some like good use for them.
Lighthouse sniper cover would probably be your best bet.
Maybe. I always feel like you draw attention to yourself, but yeah.
Yeah, well, like if you need to cross a big gap and you were getting sniped and you didn't die, you could use that to accomplish that. The
airdrops is a good one, actually. Airdrops is a good one.
Yeah. There is one use you could do, but it's a bit of an exploit. Well, it is an exploit. I don't think it's anything a lot of people are going to be doing because it's not really a... and it might even got patched, honestly, with this patch, but it's not... Well, I don't... Was this the patch that fixed the flashlights, or was that...
That was the one that literally just happened. So
okay.
The patch we're talking about at the moment is the patch that broke the flashlights.
Okay, yeah, this is so... Anyways. Let's talk about that. The flashlights got broken, and there was some weird... Like, as if they were, like, semi-on up close, but then far away, they wouldn't... Like, it looked really scuffed. I mean, Airwing and I we did a video on it, and now, of course, it's patched, which is good. So, yeah, that was a short little phase.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I shared it with everybody because it was important. We didn't know how long it was.
Yeah.
It was going to be like that for. I mean, yeah, as you guys showed, it was in the middle distance. It seemed that it was like a really like dim beam on, which is just and you even when it was off, and so you didn't know, and if you were solo, you wouldn't know, and you just get killed because you're giving yourself away. And then there's the weird bug, which I haven't checked. I mean, it's real fair. I haven't checked any of this stuff, but just like I've seen on the feeds that it's fixed. But there's also the regular lasers in NVGs, which was like blinding. The bloom was insane, so it just like broke your NVGs. You just couldn't see. So there was that as well. Apparently, a lot of that is fixed with the hotfixes that's just come out today.
Yeah, I do believe that's the case as well.
Yeah, which is cool. But I mean, they did a bunch of stuff. Like, it doesn't actually say anything really in the. It says like various optimizations in lighting, but like a few people have been pointing out the changes in kind of like the skybox or something, or just like the atmosphere in general. There's like something's changed, right? That's why these bugs have been introduced. They've done something, and it looks really cool. There's like stormy weather looks like a bit different. Everything looks a bit more dynamic. I don't know. It looks more fun.
They fixed it, Giga. It was a bug. They fixed the better way. skyboxes.
Really?
Yeah, in the hotfix patch, there's a line about.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was speculating that I was tempted to boot up Tarkov just to see, but I was speculating that they reduced the global fog because there's like 3 different fog parameters that I know of, and I think, but there's sort of like a map fog, if you will, and then there's like a weather fog, and I'm not sure about the third one, but what I thought they had done was like did like a modifier reduced the weather fog by like 30% or something, something like this. Because that will also like affect the sky as well. But I don't know. Now that they said they fixed it, I don't know what was causing. Who honestly knows? But
I didn't actually see the notes for the hotfix. Did it get tweeted?
Yeah. Pull it up.
Let me see, because I saw the hotfix, but I didn't actually see that they've tweeted a lot today.
Oh yes, they did.
Which we'll be getting into, but oh, here we go. The technical client update. Yeah. Okay, I think I saw the main one. I didn't realize they'd actually said underneath because they never used to bother fix the problem with the lack of. Oh yeah, that's okay. We may as well talk about some of this too. Actually, let's finish the original one first, and then and then we can move on to that one. So yeah, so you were talking about the interchange lighting change, right?
Yeah. I mean, it looks. I saw screenshots, and it does look better. I mean, it looks like to me the level fog was reduced. Now there was some people were showing some stuff where like it looks fine at distance, but then you get close and then it looks bad again. Like you get close to the wall or something. Like I don't know. I was like I said, I was tempted to pull it up, but the audio is still scuffed, so I was just like, I don't, and I didn't really care that much to do an offline raid, but
we just did. All we did is literally went on offline and like wandered around quickly because like I don't actually have anything to do in interchange at the moment. I've got probably decontamination to do, but other than that, I don't really have anything to get done there. I'm sort of waiting until longline. I'm level 44, so I've got like one more level, and then it'll be longline season, baby. Probably. I'm spending my time trying to find vertexes, and it's just like me trying to find loot is just painful. But yeah, no, it looks good. It looks really, really good. Like you can actually see down the corridors. It's like much darker in certain areas. Flashlights go really hard on that map now. It's like the flashlights they go for. They don't seem to have any kind of attenuation really. It's just like they just go and then they hit the back wall and you can see for miles. I mean that's kind of cool. That's sort of really how flashlights sort of work, I suppose, right? You know, like if you're I don't know, if you're outside with your and one in real life, it's like they go for a long time. Like especially it depends on how focused they are. I mean, it depends on what it is. Like
assuming there's no fog.
Assuming there's no fog, which now there's no fog, so it looks good. Because before it was like an actual foggy day where you try to put your headlights on and then it like blinds you because it comes back into your eyes. It looks cooler now. So yeah, I'm pleased with it. It looks good. And they changed the tweet reserve as well. Like reserve was never as bad, but we went down into D2, for example. So when you go up you go like away from King or whatever, like you go down the staircase, you go through some of the like big metal doors, and then you end up in this big open area with all the wooden sort of flooring. As you come into that room, there's kind of a weird like broken balcony, and people can lie down on there and like camp you right before you reach the main D2 kind of like section. You can actually see up there now when you look in when you go in the room. Like before, you like look.
You could not see it. It was.
Is anyone there? It's like so foggy. You can't really tell. Like someone's prone right like this, and all you can see is head and 2 shoulders, and the weapon that's like half covering their face. It's all like broken up, and it's all weird anyway. Like depending on your settings and post effects and stuff, it's like it's just impossible to see. Now you can actually see to the back wall, which is like super cool. I don't think it makes that much difference elsewhere. Like it makes the underground, the full length of the underground, a little bit more visible. But it just makes D2 so much nicer. But it's just like it's way better. It's way better. I mean, it's like CZ saying, it is now dark in the dark places and light in the light places. And this was always my issue with interchange, right? Specifically, was the dynamic range was really small. It was like everything was either like grey or bright. There was no dark really, and it was just it was bad. Whereas now, because you could differentiate more, we were just like constrained with the actual sort of the number of colors that were on the screen, right? Because nothing was ever dark enough. So yeah, it's way better. And yeah, Reserve looks cool in that on that new lighting system too. So no, I'm pleased. I'm pleased with this. Excellent. We've been asking for this for forever, and I'm hyped to get into some interchange after this has come through. I haven't played it for a bit, so
they that was one of the things that I was referencing that I recall now was a Reserve. The Axel showed a video where you're in the underground sort of main area, the outside of server. And if you walk towards, I guess it's Queen or King, whatever your preference is, the bunker doors where the generator's at, and the metal stairs that leads up to the gated fence. Hopefully, you know what I'm talking about. But if you walk towards that, at a certain point, you cross like a threshold, and like the lighting will like change drastically. Like it looks really funky, and I'm not sure what's going on there. Neither was Axel, but I don't know, something to keep an eye on. But
yeah, there's another big bug as well. We saw this on Interchange in the underground parking lot, which is really annoying. Seems that everybody's having it. If you go, there's like the strip lights, and you're standing at a normal distance away from them, and they look good. As soon as you go quite close to them, they seem to turn off, and it seems to turn off a lot of the ambient light in general as well.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same bug. And it looks bad. Even the distance stuff looks bad once that happens. And so if they can just make that not happen, then it'll look really, really good. It'll look good, actually, I think, even in the underground. So
yeah. No, that's good. My buddy said, my fellow Interchange main said Interchange looks really good now. So I think it's once they get the audio on that map, I might be Interchange main again.
They just need to change some of the loot now, and then it'll be. I feel like it's okay, to be honest. Doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. So the other big thing that came with that patch is added an in-game mail notification system for banned players on the players report. Yes. Play the meme, Church. Play it now. Thank God, dude. That's a great quality of life addition.
That'll be nice. It'd be interesting. I wonder if it incentivizes people to report more. Just to see, I feel like, when somebody's kind of sus, I'm just like, I want to know, I won't know unless I press the report button. You know what I mean? Like, they might just get more reports in general.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it's cool. It is cool. And then, then the other thing, the sound, the Reserve and Shoreline sound. I've not played enough on it. I tried doing an offline to just run with some scavs on Reserve just to see while we were looking at the lighting. I've not played Shoreline. I don't know. People were saying that it's better, not necessarily the best, but it's apparently better than it was.
Okay.
Anecdotally that I've heard, like on Resort, you could tell which floor people are on. Supposedly,
okay. That's really good. If that's the case, that's a massive improvement, dude.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can. The inclusion doesn't get which Nikita talked about some of the things. But anyways. It's more improvements are good. They adjusted the user interface, placing offer in flea market account, disable the barter offers. I saw this a bit. It looks kind of confusing. Which been your experience? Is it? I do remember one thing. You can now sell things for multiple currencies, which is like I can already see Giga smiling for the audio listeners.
You can.
He's like more rubles and dollars and euros.
I literally did it the very first time just to see. I put a T-plug up for like 9,000 rubles and $1. And it comes up with like the multi-item thing as if it's a barter. But it's like it's just goofy. I don't really get it. I'm sure there's gonna be there's probably a scam in there somewhere, but it's like 9,000 rubles, 9,000 euros, $9,000. But it seems to put the stuff in the right order. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. We'll see. But no, in my experience so far, it's a very simple change. They've just removed the barter section from that completely, which was the complicated bit, honestly, because now there's only 3 currencies. Yeah, because now the only 3 choices are rubles, dollars, and euros in any combination that you'd like. They've just stripped away the whole, like, you open up the item and then you click the button to open up the menu as to what to put it up for, whether it's like money or whether it's an item. That's gone now because you don't need it. So when you open up to sell the item, it literally just has there the ruble amount. So you open up, you say, like, I want to sell this thing, and you just type the number in and press OK. So it's actually way faster.
Yeah, it's good.
The way that the UI is designed has got a very similar looking button, to clear the ruble amount so that you can start again. The problem is most people who've been playing for like all eternity and are like on their muscle memory completely with this stuff because you've pressed that button probably 10,000 times whilst playing the game, probably more. You just sit there like an idiot, just clicking the cancel button, going like, "Why isn't the thing opening?" And then you're like, "Oh, hold on, this is the cancel for like." You have to take a step back. You're like, "I'm supposed to put a ruble number in here and press OK." Like this is just different, but it looks like the old button. So you sit there clicking for like 5 or 6 times, and then you suddenly realize why it's not. It's like, "What's this?" Oh no, yes, it's a new system. So I'm getting used to it now. Getting my muscle memory in for the new system, one less click in that menu actually makes an enormous difference. If you're selling 20, 30 items, rather than being like, right click, filter by item, whatever the button is, like select multiple, you click on the one and open up the menu and then open it up and then put in the ruble amount and click OK and then send it on. Having that be slightly more streamlined makes a massive difference when you're putting up like 30 items. It's actually much quicker. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it actually. It's huge. It's really, really good. Really, really good. Very pleased. Very pleased.
And then they expanded the quest area for assessment part 1. I think it was previously like right outside of the bridge to lighthouse ish, but now it's essentially the entire main center of the map outside of the road camp and obviously the lighthouse and a little bit of the half the shoreline area.
Yeah. Exactly. So assessment part 1 being the Lightkeeper quest where you have to kill PMCs on Lighthouse in a specific area, which used to be Lighthouse Island, Bridge, and a little bit around the Southern Extract. And now it's the whole island, basically, up to the road camp. Indeed. So that's a lot better. A lot of people complaining about that because it's just like such a specific area that people weren't going. The only place you could really do it is by aggressively pushing the Southern Road spawn and just killing them. And doing that until you've completed the quest, which is just kind of dumb. So yeah, it's good. Good. So everything, yeah. So
yeah, I mean,
sound. No, it says adjusting sound on the streets. I've not actually played streets recently. I really want to again, but I've not played. Grenades, man players. Yeah, I think that was the main stuff in this patch. I think.
Yeah, there were some fixes and optimizations, but nothing too major, I would say. But then we got the hotfix, which fixed the bugs with the lighting and the flashlights we talked about.
Yeah, and then they've got fixed the problem with the lack of bonuses from elite perks. This is actually good because there's a lot of people complaining about this, which was the whole, if you got to level 51 with an elite perk, if you use the stim or a med or like a food or anything that ticked that skill up again, you'd lose your elite perk, which is just really annoying. Like it just shouldn't happen, right? Because you can in theory go up to levels, is it 61? Or 70? I can't actually remember exactly how many you can go up past your level. Like if you're elite, I think you can buff it up a bit further. But yeah, like stupid stuff was happening. Like a lot of people are elite metabolism. It's the first skill that most people get to. If you had a blacked thorax, you wouldn't die with elite metabolism because you don't take any damage if you're exhausted. But if you suddenly drank or ate something that gave you metabolism, you immediately die on the next tick because you still take the damage because it takes a bit of time for the effect to go away or something. There was some crazy thing where you just ended up like dying, or if you just tick up a skill using some other item, then you just immediately die. Your thorax takes like 1 damage and you die because you lose your metabolism skill. It was really annoying. There's some like weird fringe cases where it mattered a lot. Like another annoying stuff where people who've got max strength, they've got the various buffs for that, and then they have like they get +1 strength from some stupid like max energy. I can't remember which one does it. And then they'd suddenly be like super like omega overweight, stuff like this. It's just ridiculous. So I'm glad that they've changed that because that was annoying for those people who did actually have max traders.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, fix the display of the results of the parameters of the weapon after installation of selected mods. That was really annoying. What was happening is it was getting stuck on the like plus minus thing. So you'd have a gun and it would like your stats would look normal, your ergo, your recoil, whatever. And then you'd like hover, you'd mouse over a different attachment and it would say +8 ergo and -4 recoil. And you'd click it and it would just stay like that. Like +4 ergo and -8 recoil. It was just really janky. So when you tried to put something else on, it just broke. Sometimes it wouldn't change. I don't know what they did, but they screwed that. But that seems to be fixed. And then, yeah, as you say, it says fix the sky rendering change, which worked incorrectly in terms of the brightness. Yeah, maybe we all just we're so used to what things look like already. When something looks different, we're like, "Oh, this looks great! It looks different. Like, it's exciting. It's new."
Yeah. It
So
could
maybe
be
it's just that.
maybe it's related to like the sun and the brightness, or hard to
Maybe.
say.
Yeah,
Well,
I
no,
don't know.
it's interesting.
Not sure. So that's the hot fix. They fixed it pretty quick, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was
I was
expecting some of this stuff
like
to
what,
be
48 hours ish.
pretty fast.
Yeah,
Pretty fast. When was it posted? Tuesday at 8 a.m. And then this hot fix has come in. Oh,
today.
okay. Maybe it's 3 days. So yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
yeah, it's not bad. Not too bad.
All right,
So
shall we get on to the Tarkov TV cast and all the goodies?
yes. So I cram watched the Tarkov TV. I was telling Church just before this thing started because the timing didn't work out for me today. I always, if I can, I like to go on and like stream them because it's fun to chat to everyone and see what they've been doing. But it didn't work today. Timing was really bad. Like I was basically like refreshing Nolan's Twitter feed whilst like holding like I had like my hand on a crying baby with my left hand and like Nolan's Twitter feed on my right hand, just like damn, I wish I was watching the Tarkov TV. But needless to say, I managed to cram the whole thing before watching this, so it's good. So let's start. I don't know. I wrote like loads of random notes, so it's in no particular order. So if there's anything you want to talk about, just like jump in, or if there's anything that fits better in to the next segment, feel free to jump in and stop me because it was just like random. Like where should we start? Where should we
Well,
start?
I was gonna start with the. Did you get to see the promotional event video with the loot
This the
crates?
Ryzhy one. Oh no,
No.
the loot crates one.
Yeah, that I saw that and I was super confused, and all of
That was
chat
funny.
was confused. It was funny because I think he set up like this is like a new, you have to figure out what this is or something about an event or whatever, and then you watch it and it's matter of fact I'll probably just pull it up here so we can show it, but yeah. In the meantime, give me your 2 cents on it.
So this video was the one about because so the video is basically like a mock-up fake like YouTube video about how to find some cool loot, and then the dude goes to the box in game and the box isn't there. So it's basically dynamic loot, right? It's like not I mean procedurally generated is giving it too much credit, but it's basically like turning on and off various loot locations. I assume. I mean, if they can dynamically place them around the map, like maybe they've got lots of different sort of spawn points for them or something. Like, however they're going to do it, there's now the boxes aren't always going to be in the same place, which is cool. And we had this conversation between me and you ages ago about like stashes, for example, where you make the number of stashes or potential stashes way higher, but you only have like an eighth of them spawn in any one raid, like a random selection. So that's effectively the idea for all loot, which I didn't think they'd do, to be fair. But yeah, like loot crates might be in different places and stuff, so they're not always going to be. You can't just loot run in a one particular way and know you're always going to be able to hit the same things, which I think is kind of nice. It wants people to, or they want people to play the maps in a more organic way, and just loot stuff as they go, which I'm on board with. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Like the loot running is all well and good, and it's easy money or whatever, and people do figure out some good ones, but it's not really in the spirit of the game. I think this way's like nicer, and yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah. I'm curious to what extent it will go to. I mean, potentially it could be just like crates and bags and containers, these types of
Mm.
things. I mean, I assume that would be the case. And man, I can't wait to be like walking through a resort on second floor and just having my path blocked by a bunch of containers. But no, seriously, it's I think like you said, I personally like it. I mean, it makes it more dynamic, organic. You know what I mean? You really have to scavenge, the lands. It fits within the vision of the game. So I'm pretty excited for this. It can really help make because it's kind of the weird thing with non-procedural generated survival games like DayZ, Tarkov. Uh, you end up like memorizing the map. It plays more like
Yeah.
your traditional shooter like Counter-Strike. You know, you kind of get an idea of player behavior and things like this, you know, and these little cheeky spots and where stuff spawns. It becomes a very knowledge heavy, and it kind of detracts from that survival experience, in my opinion. So this is a good way to kind of combat that, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's cool. Otherwise, it just becomes a big knowledge game.
Yeah, which Tarkov already has enough of that.
Yeah. Did you see the secret thing that was in that video that Nikita
Yes.
mentioned, which
Not
was
initially. I thought it was just like this is the background, but then he was like really hinting hard. You need to go back and look at it.
yeah. So the dude opens up Tarkov, but there's like the weapon rack in the background. What's it called? Like like a gun trophy thing? I don't know what you'd call it, but it
Something
looks
like
like
that.
a place that you can display certain guns in the hideout, I presume, which would be really cool. Or maybe it's like I don't know where it's going to go. I guess it's going to go in the hideout.
Yeah. Well, it
It'd be cool
has.
though if that background could go on your main menu. That's what I'd like, because I would never look at it in the hideout personally. But if you could like set your background, it's like factory labs woods. You could set it as like your gun rack. That'd be sick, dude. Can you imagine having like the
Yeah,
dynamic background for your gun rack? It'd be awesome.
I mean that would be really cool. I suspect it's gonna be like a a station you build, and you can
Mm,
I mean store guns in there. You know what I mean? Like it's a stash space. You know what I mean?
maybe, yeah.
Um, that's kind of like I'm joking when I say this, but they stole it from Lost Light. You know, 'cause they did a very similar thing. Um, and
Honestly,
I
if they did, fantastic. This is why having these
yeah,
competitors is
honestly,
good, right? Because people generating new ideas and cool stuff, and they go like, "That's cool. We'll take it in our game." What
yeah,
is wrong with that? That's brilliant. That's why. That's like you need other people doing stuff to get new ideas and things. That's why I thought Lost Light's cool. That's why Read a Breakout is cool. It's like seeing different people do different takes on the same genre. Like if you're just there
hmm
like sailing on your own, and people just keep making these like half-assed like lame copies, then you don't really learn anything. But yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I'm all for it. Like take the good ideas from the mobile games, go for it.
yeah,
But that'd be cool. So you can be able to like I guess like put your favorite guns up on this weapons rack and stuff, and like display them in some way or whatever. Or
yeah.
just store stuff. That's gonna be
I
quite
mean,
funny though if everyone's weapons rack is just like 1x3 RDs with like no pistol grip and stock, just min max put to the to the hilt. That will be quite entertaining. And we'll have to see have to see what's allowed. Maybe it has to be a working gun to go on the rack. I don't know. I'm just gonna put like hideous monstrosities up there. It's gonna be like GP underbarrel plus like night vision scope canted, min recoil versions just for the hell of it with zero ergo, like stupid stuff like that.
so I got on the videos. I'll describe it for the audio listeners, but I got a still from the clip BSG showed, and if you look, I mean, again, this is all like placeholder, but if you look on the weapon stash thing that they're showing, there's actually to the right of it, you can see what looks like, yeah, it says stash, and it has some rubles up top, a water bottle, a gun, and there's some other item that's like transparent. I don't know why. But then to the left, you see the weapons in the background, and on the top, you see hideout, and then beneath the weapons, you see weapon stang. The bit rate here is really low. Twitter compression, darn you, but maybe it's weapon stash. I don't know. It looks weird, but it has the regular cells of there. So I wonder if it will be some type of extra storage or something. We'll see. Maybe you could put you could put weapon cases on your weapon wall, and then they just like it's like the Russian doll that just keeps opening up.
Very appropriate.
Well, so yeah, that was one of the things we got. I mean, I'm kind of just going through all the clips, the video clips they released. Honestly, just to have them flash up. If you want, we can just do that. The next one was the blind fire. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. Blind fire, which
Yeah.
pretty cool, I'd say.
The big question about blind fire for me is whether they are going to allow movement again with it, because I hope they do. I feel like they won't, but anyway, it looks awesome the way that they've done it. Like the old blind fire videos, they showed old versus new, right? And it's like the old one, the guy's just like the body hardly moves. It's like just like this. But now the new one's super dynamic. It's like it moves the whole body out. Like it just looks sick. Just like it's really good animations. I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, animations are really solid. I'm very curious on some of the implementation because the question in my mind is the one where you lean, like they look better overall. The one where you're showing the pistol, like it rises much higher than the old version, which is really good because the overhead blind fire was just so hard to use. Like there was like a few spots that like on interchange you could kind of use it on like Kiba or no, sorry, not the Adik, the building outside of Kiba. There's the windows. Some of them have got like boxes, the windows and the wall. There's like a window with fencing on it, and you could like kind of shoot over it, but you have to like angle it right. Like it's really complicated. So I hope that experience gets a lot better, where it's much more viable. And then the one where you're blind firing out to the right, the new version, your PMC kind of like leans a bit, and his head leans a bit. So we'll have to see how it feels in first person. I'm a little worried that head leaning will, might get you killed. But if all is done right, it should be pretty good. And I really like these mechanics being more prevalent, more reliable ways of legitimate ways, viable ways. That's the word of playing the game.
Yeah, I can think the place where I can think that I would have wanted to have it work properly is outside Techlight. Like there's those kind of like head height planters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like I can't, like, can I shoot over or not? Like if you're too close, you can't really shoot. Like you're gonna have height and floor issues and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this like sucks, dude. So there, I could have definitely done with that at some point.
And please, for the love of God, let me move while I'm blind firing. Please, please.
Yeah, otherwise it's borderline useless. Just because you get locked in place, right? It's not even about like, it's not really about like the ability to run and blind fire or whatever. That's not really it. It's just like not being stationary while you do it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's two different things. It's like it's not like everybody wants to like run around power sliding and blind firing whilst they're moving. It's like we just don't want to be completely still and like locked into stationary position to do it.
But even if like in the real world example, there may be a situation where I want to run to somewhere and also blind fire. Like,
yeah,
fuck you guys, as I'm shooting, running away with the gun over my head, aiming backwards.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Yeah, they need to add that reverse overhead blind fire, so I can sprint away from Killa and be like, "Screw you!"
Love it.
That's funny.
What's the next on the list of like the animation stuff? Because there's another one about vaulting. Was that
vaulting?
That
let's hit up vaulting. They said Nikita specifically said that he didn't think it was proper, like up to their standards. And when he showed it, I was like, "Damn, that looks pretty good by my eye." Like but it looks pretty good. We'll have to see how it plays, and then all the mechanics and whatnot. But they said they want to improve it, the animations, and maybe some of the mechanics. Like when he lands, he kind of his feet kind of like he floats, does that weird like floaty down thing.
A little bit, yeah.
But
yeah, so I mean, maybe they showed like 3 very specific situations where it works, the best, and the rest of it's like mega junk. Who knows? I mean, it does make me wonder, right, about some of these things where they're like, oh, it's not really ready, it's not really up to our standard, like we're not really sure how it's, and then they show you like three sets. So they let me I may as well just go through it then. They showed vaulting up onto a box.
Mm-hmm.
They showed vaulting out of a window onto like a sort of 45-degree like metal roof, and then vaulting over a fence they're sort of high up, and then they vault over onto the floor. And it's like, okay, those things that's all well and good. Like they're like 90 degrees. There's nothing else going on. They're not trying to like, do all sorts of crazy stuff when they land or whatever. It's like the usual stuff. They land and then they like move off. They're not trying to suddenly super sprint or like crawl or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like the thing that comes to mind is like what happened to me the other day with I've been hitting Marion a lot on Lighthouse. I'm just like running up to the side of the car and like I'm mid sprint and hit F halfway through. And my guy's just like, like the weirdest hand gesture of all time. Like my hand's kind of like borderline, it's like jointed in 3 places, unlocking the back of this car. It's like, oh my god! And you can imagine that some of the vaulting mechanics could end up being, similar like weird stuff where you try to vault and then you sort of glitch up and then vault over the like 90 degrees to where you actually went on and stuff like this. So I'm sure if they say it's busted, I'm sure it probably is a bit busted. But anyway, I'm happy about it. I really hope that. I mean, even Nolan said this in his video, right? And in his sort of general video about everything Tarkov, he's like, we just want to step over small stuff. Like, yeah, if you can get it to work in the game, that's cool. Please let us step over small fences and little bits and bits of log and twigs or whatever. That's really all we care about.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a nice thing. I mean, I think you could. There's got to be a way to address that, but I worry the potential for that is like you could, like in theory, Counter-Strike, for example, there's stairs. There aren't actually like stairs; it's slopes. So you like smoothly walk up it. But like maybe you could do an implementation where they actually are stairs, but like when you meet a resistance, a force, you start like slowly climbing, like floating in air. You know what I mean? But then that could be you could see the implication where you just like run up against a wall and all of a sudden you're like floating up against the wall all the way to the roof. So I don't know. There might be something they could do there, but it would be nice to fix the annoying. There's like this is a random off topic thing, but there's a little branch outside of Shoreline, and when you're making your way up to the resort on west side, and if you hit it at a certain angle or something, you will get stuck. Like you are stuck there, and it's you are just out in the open. And if you ever get stuck there, I think they might have patched it. Actually, I'm not positive, but if you do get stuck there, move in a direction and just spam your inventory, and eventually it will get you out. That's one of the ways you can get out.
Stuck stick.
The stuck stick, yeah. Don't want to get hit by the stuck stick. So yeah, that was cool. That was really cool, actually. The other thing we'll talk about is the revamped UI with the traders. I was really pleased with it. It just looks really nice and clean.
It does. I have like a bunch of random screenshots. Actually, maybe that was one that I didn't have. Because I was flicking through, I think it was only towards the end that I thought, I should screenshot this so I can like reference it and actually like at least look at it. I don't have this one, but they've got the how does it go exactly? I did actually write it down. It was the UI. Here it is. So it's got all the traders at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got literally like you go into one of the traders like Prapor or whoever, and then it's like Prapor, Therapist, Fence, Skier, Peacekeeper, and they're all along the top. So you can just like click between them, not having to go like back out and back in, back out, back in, back out, back in, back out, back into every trader, which is like super good. And then underneath that, it's got trade services. Oh no, sorry, it's got trade services and tasks at the top, and then the traders underneath that. So it's still got the 3 tabs, but now that because it's unified with all the traders, you just like click to different ones. If you want to go to a task on Skier, you just click to skill. You just click, but you're already on tasks. You just click between the different traders, and it's got all the different tasks they might have, which is like super super good. And then buy sell underneath the traders. So then you've got your stash and their thing. So it's all like integrated and all unified. And it looks great. It looks great. Like any quality life stuff like that, especially in Tarkov's interface now. Like the game's pretty complicated when it comes to selling stuff, and there's so many items and like stuff with different trader values and yada yada. So I'm so glad that they're looking at this rework. It looks great. It looks really really good, and especially with the flea market thing, could be saving people a lot of time.
Yeah, it looks like there's even a hotkey for confirm for like if you're buying or selling, you click the items in there and you press space to do it, so you could increase your APMs in between.
Nice.
Rating. Yeah,
I'm all about that. I'll only be happy when I can use my entire inventory and hideout in the flea market without touching the mouse. That's when I'll be happy.
And then lastly, as far as media goes, well, there's a couple other things, but the next one we'll talk about is animations in the Hideout, which I was surprised. I mean, I guess it makes sense given some of the screenshots that Nikita teased that one time with the PMC scratching his butt on the bed. And yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, no much more to say than that. It's cool that they're adding that, help build that immersion and whatnot. See, when I first saw it, I thought it was you in the first person could like go to sleep, but I guess this makes more sense,
Yeah, it seems to just be kind of like passive animations when you're just like in that menu, right?
Yeah.
It's like showing your PMC doing the thing in the
Right.
thing. It's like, look, from a practical standpoint, right? It's entirely irrelevant, but
Yes.
it's nice. It's a nice thing. I
Sure.
just like, it's one of those ones where like I see it and I'm just like, I hope this didn't take too long, and I hope this was people who weren't working on anything else. That's all I'll say about it, right? It's like it's it's an animation team of some kind. Okay, maybe they had like this is their like stretch stuff, I guess, because like they're not working on the core code or whatever. So
yeah,
that's fine. That's okay, and I hope that's the case.
Yep. Animators got to animate something, right?
Exactly. Might as well, yeah. I'm just like, well, we're done with all this other stuff, so now we'll animate these cool things. Everyone else is busy working on networking and audio and drowning. So we'll work on some awesome things. Watching a man pack together some meds in the med station.
So other than those things, there was also the re-announcement at what was it? Nikita was like a world premiere of season 2, chapter 1 of Ryzhy's storyline is coming back.
Yeah. So they showed the first part. So spoiler alert if anybody hasn't watched the Tarkov TV or the Chronicles of Ryzhy or whatever, then like skip this bit a little bit if you really care about being spoiled. I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal, is it really? But yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, then just skip this part or mute it or whatever, and for a little bit. But yeah, so what's the deal? Ryzhy wakes up, and it seems to be tied into an event as well. May I add, it seems to be tied into a global event that's just been released. So Ryzhy wakes up in some random place. There's a bunch of dudes playing cards and like fighting with each other. They tell him that they're the cleanup crew after the arena, and he doesn't really remember anything. But then it like flashbacks to the arena, because the last that we saw of Ryzhy, he was being taken out of the trunk of a car, right, and told, "Welcome to arena." Petal princess,
Pussy.
I can't remember what they told him. It was something funny. Snowflake, I think it was actually.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was it. So that was the last that we saw of him, and then it flashes back to the arena fight where there's like a bunch of guys who've gone in. I got a bit confused watching it because I watched it on like mega speed. So, well, like I slowed down some parts of it and sped up some parts. So I haven't watched it like the way it should have been watched really. But there's like two groups of guys who are fighting, or who were supposed to fight. I think it's quite funny that like a whole. I couldn't quite tell whether one team had all like the bear gear and the other team had USEC gear, but they've obviously like given them USEC gear. It's like some kind of like, I don't know, like cockfighting arena or whatever. It's like out in the middle of nowhere, like two sets of guys. It's like bare knuckle boxing, so like with guns, so having to shoot each other for whatever reason to get their freedom. I'm not sure, but some of the guys were all in USEC outfits, which is kind of funny. And they decide that they're going to team up and not fight. And then like Ryzhy and all them lot turn up. I think they're like the second wave or something. I'm not sure. And Ryzhy gets shot, and sort of at the beginning gets dragged off to the side, so he's kind of out of it, which I guess saves him because he doesn't like die or whatever. He's just like bleeding out on the floor. And then I mean, I was like, oh, this is actually really sick. Because I was like, this is like so what would happen, or like how like the characters that would want to go and participate in this kind of thing. And they just like bring out like the full crew, and like Killer and Tagilla turn up, just like gunning everybody down. And it's just like those guys would absolutely be in for this kind of thing. Like they'd just like turn up at the weekend, after a busy session of like munching PMCs at the mall. They just like turn up at the scav slaying arena and just go like shoot some guys because they're both completely nuts. So I was like, that is actually really, really. That's like it's super cool. And then yeah, the cleanup guys turn up and pick him up. So that's kind of like the story happens in reverse order. So we'll see. And then so now there's this event. I don't actually have the game open still, but there's this event that's appeared. I wonder if I could just pull it up quickly because I'm sure someone will have I'm sure somebody will have tweeted about it, so that we can see what does it say. So it's a community event. There's currently a community event. We have to hand over 10 million bandages. They don't have to be found in raid, so you can just buy them. And presumably it's something to do with like helping Ryzhy or something along those lines. I guess like those things are too coincidental to not be linked in some way. So yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because you can just, as of today, you can buy the bandages from therapists and turn them in. Like they don't have to be found in raid. I think that's going to change, but I don't know. That's a question mark.
Yeah, they said that it seems right now that it's like you could just buy them. So if you go to escapefromtarkov.com /bandage, I'm gonna put it in chat here, but if anyone's interested, if it's still relevant and still on. Currently for me it says 360,469 bandages collected, left to collect like 9.6 million. And presumably once you get a certain like it's an event for the community. Once we get to a certain amount, then like this 10 million amount, then we'll get a community reward, I guess. It's cool. I like this kind of thing. I think it's fun. There's like so much headroom in this type of event we've talked about before, like Bear versus USEC and all this kind of stuff. Like something that splits the player base, I think would be really, really, really cool.
Yeah, this one's a little different where it's integrated within the Trader's Quest. It's like an actual quest that you turn it in. And yeah, so it looks like they're kind of expanding this whole community event stuff within their systems. And yeah, like you said, potential's there to do some cool stuff. All right, so I think that's all of the media, related stuff as far as videos go.
Was that the stuff that they put on Twitter and that kind of thing?
Yes, I want to talk about some of the Nikki leaks. The things that Nikita said are coming.
Sure. Well, I don't know whether just before we do, because there was like
Sure.
there were a couple of other things that I've taken some screenshots of.
Okay. Yeah. So
and I think it kind of ties in with this because it's not Ryzhy, but the other stuff because it's kind of media-ish. So they showed a screenshot of the gear presets for the first time.
Yeah.
On the Tarkov TV, which is like, it looks really cool. I took a screenshot of that myself, and it's like you can name it. You've got your top and trouser combo that you get from Ragman as part of that too. Then you've got your full loadout, what's in your gamma, your bag, your rig, your gun, helmet, pistol, all of that stuff. And it's like it seems like you could just like pick from a menu on the right. You just go through and you can like maybe drag stuff in. Maybe you'd need to make a preset for a gun first. That would kind of make sense. It's hard to know. But this seems to be like the first iteration. And then there's pockets too. And then you could just say like, flea market, buy missing, gear up. Like it looks really, really cool. And then the other one was the armor hitbox like plate system, which they showed as well. So they showed like there's a gazelle here, which has got the neck piece, front two sides. Sorry, no, front two sides and the back, and the sides do seem to just be like the bits away from the arm holes. And then there's like a picture of the actual plate as well. So they've got like level 4 ceramic plate, 45 armor points, medium ricochet, armor class 4. So there's going to be ricochet on like plates too now, it seems, which is kind of bizarre. So like in the same way that helmets have a ricochet chance.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it's got a turn speed, ergonomics, and movement speed modifier. I wish they'd just get rid of the turn speed one, but the other two make sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold Nikita on that one. I'm gonna take him to court.
Exactly. So that's pretty cool. And then the armor points on the gel, I don't really know how that functions. Oh yeah, he's got the neck piece. That's okay. Yeah, so it's just the armor points on the armor is just like it works for other stuff. It's just the cumulative total of all of them. They've got like a full neck piece and a full front, 45 and 15 for 60, and then a damaged piece on the back or side. Yeah, at the back, which is like 9.4 out of 45. Then the overall armor is like 69.4. which is cool. Which is cool. I think it's interesting. You can like go into the gear menu and like actually turn the armor, like look at the different plates, where the plate's supposed to go and stuff. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see. I mean, I wonder if because the Gazelle currently is at 65 durability, and this is obviously with 2 plates is at 90 durability. So I wonder if that entire system is going to get restructured a bit, you know?
Yeah, I mean the actual like durability system of the armors is going to be completely different. If something's got modular plating, then as we said before, I think there's going to be like the way that I imagine it is pure speculation. The way I imagine it's going to be 2 tiers of armor. There'll be armors with like fixed plates. They will probably stay the same as they are now. The ones that it's sewn in and you can't really, it'll just be the usual repair system. And then you'll have armors with replaceable plates where you just buy the frame and they will support different types of plates. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that exactly, but like what will be it's one of those things though. It's weird. It's like what's going to be the other than the actual, I guess it's going to be what hitboxes you can cover or not, which will determine why you'd want to buy one like armor vest shell.
Yeah.
Like, is the gazelle now going to be like, it's just going to be a grey piece of fabric with holes in it, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be like 10K,
Dude.
and then you have to buy all the plates.
You just made me think of something. Escape from fashion instead of Tarkov. And now I can pick whatever color scheme I want, you know?
Yeah, you're not limited to the...
It's all about
you're
the
not
drip.
limited to the class choice.
Right.
Because this is a gazelle with class 4 ceramic plates inside, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, yeah, maybe certain plates will be compatible with different armors. I'm not sure. I imagine that is probably the case.
Probably. We'll see. It's really exciting because you'll get, as you said, all these different shell archetypes and different possible combinations, and it's gonna really shake things up, and so much content to make is now what I'm thinking of. But yeah, it's cool.
People like me just fist pumping like,
yeah.
I have to re-explain all the mechanics again. Oh no.
Oh yes.
I get to sit there for 3 weeks nerding out over all the new mechanics.
Exactly.
I'm so upset. Okay, so yes, what were we talking about before I interrupted you? Because those were the 3 things that I just wanted to mention before we move on.
No, that's cool. I mean, we kind of keep going with stuff like, yeah. So there's some more screenshots of weapons. I'll be honest, I was listening to the cast, but it was very passive listening because it's, once we got past the initial 10 minutes of it, it was very clear that Dimitri was going to be playing. And so I was like, oh, this isn't going to be like a, more structured thing. But it was kind of structured. It's just to have something going on. But anyways, I was still distracted. So I didn't really catch all the nitty gritty stuff. But I'm just gonna flash up a couple different.
Cool. I'll try and cover anything else afterwards.
Cool. So yeah, the first one on the list is the underbarrel grenade launcher for the Scar, which I was kind of under the impression that the current FN weapon was gonna be the one that was going to go onto the Scar, but I guess it's going to be a separate one, perhaps. I mean, it looks to be the case. Maybe it could still be the same. Who's to say, honestly?
Yeah, I don't know actually. That's a good point. I haven't scrutinized the screenshot in detail. Because they put a load of pictures up, right?
Yeah.
Did they do it on... which one did they do it on? Did they just do it on App Tarkov? This is the thing. It's annoying because they've got App Tarkov and they've got Battlestate Games, which is a pain. And they put some stuff on one. They normally put things on App Tarkov. They don't always put stuff on Battlestate Games, which is painful.
It looks, by my eyes, different enough, but I don't. I mean, I'm not a gun guru by any stretch of the means. All my gun education is from video games.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just the core of it or something that you just like take the top off and the aiming bit and then the underneath section. I don't know.
Nonetheless, though, that was shown. The next one is, oh god, it's I can't remember the name, but it's a
Are you looking at the screenshots?
yes, I'm going in order. It's
The VKS.
yes, the VKS. Thank you. Yeah. Which this one's been on the confirmed weapons list for quite some time, so I'm glad that they're adding in all these. I really like the Russian guns, like the aesthetics and whatnot. But yeah, this
I
one
think
shoots
this is
9x39
yeah, it's
VSS ammo.
another Valley VSSE
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yep. He said sniper. I mean, this very well could be a sniper. I mean, me looking at this, it just screams like SMG, but obviously it's not. But
I mean, it is bolty.
it,
I'm pretty sure it's bolt action.
Huh.
I think.
I don't know. I have to pull up Wikipedia. That's how.
Yeah, if you look at it
my
on Wikipedia, the gun looks a lot more badass than the screenshot that they shared. I imagine
yeah.
that theirs is like the base version. If you just go, if you go on Wikipedia and look up the VKS sniper rifle, it looks like insane. It's the one where the suppressor is as long as the actual gun.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And this one, this one looks like some kind of weird folding stock one. Like maybe it's different. I don't even know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure. Or maybe I've misunderstood. Again, I don't know. I just go off what I'm told. Like the one on Wikipedia is like full bullpup or something,
Ooh, that's cool.
whereas it doesn't look like it in the screenshot they've shared. So I'm a bit confused.
Could just be a different version.
I don't know.
Nonetheless,
yes. Nonetheless, I don't know. It'll be another Val VSS type thing.
Yeah.
To hate on.
Hate on.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I just don't like those
think you
guns. I don't know
did.
why. I don't know. There's just I've never enjoyed them. It just always feels like even when they're out of the meta, it just feels try hard to me, and I just don't like using them.
Oh, you're one of those people.
No, I never normally like that. But there's something about the VSS and the Val. I'm just like, ugh. I think it's because like people use them so well, and I'm so bad with them, and I can't really figure out why.
Just pull down, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand. There's something about it that I can't deal with. Can't deal with. I'm being told apparently this thing is semi or full auto, so I don't know. Maybe it's not even the one that I'm thinking of. I don't know. I know nothing, and until it's in Tarkov and I've had a look at it in there, I won't know.
Oh, the legendary towers in your chat.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is. You can bet Tower's gonna be using this as a sniper for sure.
Of course,
almost
the slowest. If it's got especially if it's got a slower speed, the slowest speed possible.
All right, next weapon, AK-12. I think another AK Pog.
Yep,
Let's
AK-12
go.
and various series apparently.
Or is it AK-15? I can't remember. I'm really
apparently
sorry.
It was AK-12. He said AK-12.
AK-12. Okay, good. Which I guess is just like one of the most more modern versions, like 2010s era or something like this. I'm not. Again, I apologize. I know some people are like rolling over, dying right now. It's like he said the wrong. That's not it. I'm not the guy. Listen. So yeah, it looks like an RPK. I'm not sure. It's probably just going to be a better gameplay wise, just a better stock. It's kind of one of those things where like the RPK, what I like about it in gameplay terms is you can pick it up and then you can just start modding it right away. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you got a grip, put it on there. You got a laser, put it on there. You got a sight, put it on there. You grab like an AK, it's like, oh, does it got a dust cover? Well, I need to get a dust cover to put a sight on it. Oh, does it got a Cobra rail on it? Oh, well, then you can mount or night dovetail, whatever, and then you can mount the Cobra on there. It's a little bit more finicky to mod. So this looks like it would be more kind of like the mutant is, how you can just kind of mod it straight out the box. And I imagine it'll probably be one of the more higher tiers of AKs you can get and mod.
I find it's quite funny looking at this gun because the first thing I'm thinking just looking at it is just like Oh, it's got a buffer tube and a regular Western style stock on it, and that's going to be changed out if possible for a wooden stock and a butt pad at every possible opportunity.
Oh, because of the the
Because
stats, yeah,
the stats they just don't really work. I
yeah,
mean, to be honest, this might be a folding one. I'm not actually sure. You might need the lock and then the thing. I don't really know.
right.
But anyway, it's always funny. Like what 545 really needs, rather more guns, it needs more suppressors. It needs a good suppressed option that's not the waffle. It doesn't need to be as good as 556, but like I don't know, it's got lower rate of fire and the bullets aren't as good, and then the suppressive options are really poor. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh god, it's just
Well,
545 is just hard, you know.
you could just alternatively you could change suppressors and how they work with where you get basically double your stats. You get the bonus of the muzzle brake and the suppressor, which I don't really think that's how. Yeah, I'll say for gameplay reasons, I don't really think that's a good thing because then those suppressors are just better. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
why like the multi-caliber suppressor? There's like such a niche reason to use it, you know? Like
Yeah,
you're
like
just
it's good for
giving up
ergo,
so
but
many stats.
that's the
Yeah,
thing.
but you could use one of the double up ones to the mini monster, and you'd still get better stats.
Yeah, exactly. And there needs to be some reason, like economical weight or something like that, that actually matters to make people use them. But yeah, now it's just like, oh, that's useful for gunsmith, and then I'm never going to ever use it ever again. It's like kind of stupid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do like just when you place a suppressor on top of the muzzle brake, those stats get eroded. You know, they're just gone. When you take it off, then they're back to the muzzle brake stats. You know, some one way of doing it, but
Yeah.
I digress. Moving on. I think there was some more. Yes. Okay, that's a folded. Is this a different gun? The folded stock. I assume it's folded. Yeah, it definitely is folded. It's another 9x39 weapon. I don't know if this is a different.
But this Diddy thing.
Yeah, the Diddy thing.
Apparently, this is a 9A91. Never heard of this thing ever.
Oh, I do remember seeing this as well on the confirmed
The
list.
KBP 9A91, a compact assault rifle. And I think it's 9. Yeah, it's 9x39 apparently.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which is interesting because it's really tiny.
Yeah, it's like a
Val SMG.
Yeah, like a really
That
busted,
sounds scary.
scuffed up looking. It's like the earliest versions of what the Val is. You know,
I'm
its
not gonna
predecessor.
lie. That sounds pretty terrifying, to be honest. Like we think the MP7's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fire rate is on this thing. I don't know.
Anyways,
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's gonna be completely broken.
and then next up with the SVT 40. I believe this fires. Now I'm doing what Nikita did. Nikita was like fumbling over what type of ammunition. I'm like, it's your own goddamn country's ammunition. 7.62 by 54R, aka the Mosin rounds. And it's a semi-auto rifle. And here in the picture, it's got some extended magazines of various sizes, probably 10 and maybe 5 and 10. I don't know. But it's also got a variant with a PU scope mounted onto it. So yeah, it's another deadly gun, which is pretty cool.
I guess it seems to me is sort of like the. I guess it's like the I don't know.
The
A little bit like that,
DMR
the hunt, like the hunter of 762 by 54.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you got like a bunch of limitations, but it like is not as expensive as the SVD. So if you really want to do it, I mean, it could be a budget. It could be a budget banger, you know. Honestly, like if this thing comes in, it could be awesome. Like the hunter was great for a while. Like maybe I don't know. Yeah, I still feel the hunter's just like not worth worth ever buying. It's actually got worse. The Hunter's got like worse. Like the Hunter's okay. Let's put it this way: the Hunter stayed the same. The RFP's got cheaper, which is just bizarre. And like all of the ammo is like really tricky now. 54. Sorry, 7.62 NATO is like hard to get the good stuff.
Yeah.
No, whereas 54R is still, it's the sacred place of like level 1. You're cracking out class 4, no problem. So this thing could be,
be pretty good.
Could be good. It could be good.
I would imagine it's got to be a level 2 at least locked trader item from Prapper. Maybe Jaeger.
Yeah, please no trader 1.
Yeah.
Scavs with this thing are going to be awful.
Oh my god, don't even start.
It's going to be like having an SVD scav.
Yeah.
Basically, which I don't believe exists.
It's well, I don't know about nowadays, but it used to be like a super rare drop you could get.
You could get it from a regular scav. Do they?
Oh, I was thinking player scavs.
No, because player scavs you can get it, but like do regular scavs ever have the SVD other than sniper scav? Obviously,
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. Other than the sniper scav,
those things would be horrible.
Yeah,
because sniper scavs, you know where they're going to be, right? They always spawn in the same place.
Right.
Yeah, they can kill you sometimes, but like just having one on Suka and then suddenly you get SVT'd with like LPS and you're dead through a Corund or something. Because those things do like those bullets just do mad armor damage. That's like half of the problem. They're just crazy. And probably be loaded up with BT by default or something stupid when it comes out. It's just everyone's gonna just melt.
Yep.
So that was the guns, yeah.
Yep, and there's
just two more screenshots.
Yeah, I'm just gonna flash up the new and improved looks like a bit of a redesign of the UI and the menu, specifically your friends list and grouping. It looks pretty cool. You got like a separate sort of vertical tab that you can extend that has your group players, your friends list, and they each got their little PMC icons on there, their name, what they're playing, it's their level. It looks pretty sharp. You can do different, give them party leadership and whatnot. Yeah.
The only thing that is kind of interesting about this that I don't know what it relates to in this new UI. You see right at the top of the menu, it says PMC frequency with a little like radio icon. I wonder what that relates to.
Where am I looking for this?
On the friends list rework. At the top of the actual window above it says Taranka, and above that it says operators. Above that it says PMC frequency.
Yeah, I do remember seeing this, and my thought was, it's funny because my thought was this was like going to be a concurrent players tracker. But
I thought that for a second, but then when I saw the radio, like it looks like a radio icon. I think.
It does. No, definitely like a handheld radio.
Yeah. So then I'm like, is this actually a radio thing? Is this where you like synchronize your radio transmission or something?
Could be
cool.
What if in the menu you could call them in the middle of the raid? So here you are, sneaking up to grab the key, machinery key from the thing in dorms, and then you get a call from your buddy like, "Yo, what's up? What are you doing?" Blaring all over doors. Like, shit, shut up. I'm trying to get the key.
You forgot to put it on silent. Yeah. You're just like there waiting. You hear someone go stationary, and then you just hear from the next door room.
That's funny.
Good stuff. And then the last screenshot, I actually jumped ahead of you and talked about the weapon preset, so we already did that one.
Yep. So yeah, none of that's done. All media related stuff. What were some of the? I know you took some really
copious notes of random things.
Yes. What you got?
So I guess like while we're on the same topic of this, I'll loop back to some of the other earlier things first, but we're kind of on these topics now. So apparently there is a new ammo loading interface coming. You mentioned it in passing.
Yeah.
I don't know what this means, but I guess it allows you to load mags in like stored patterns and stuff. Like I can't imagine what else you'd need to do, but maybe it's like mag presets and things, so you can do, the old one rip, one, something else. So you're not just all one thing, or you could put like 3 traces at the bottom of every mag, like stuff like that. I would hope Otherwise, I'm not sure what it means. What do you think? Does that sound sensible?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely kind of what I was thinking. I mean, my thought went to again Lost Light, and they have like a when you're preparing for your raid, you can select your mags, and it has like this UI. It has like the mag, and you can see each individual bullet and what the bullet is, and it's stacked, and you can unload them, and then say like put 10 in, and then put 15 in. You can physically see it. So I mean that could be it. My other thought was it could be something to do with in raid, because I know Nikita wanted to do like actual mag loading animations, but I don't think
Oh, that's
that's what he
true.
meant.
Yeah, because I think that is coming actually, but maybe it's hard to know. It's hard to know. Anyway, we'll see. It'll be interesting. Yeah, because we actually don't have an. It's one of the only things we don't have an animation for is reloading mags in
Yeah.
raid. I think it's the only thing actually.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything that you do.
Opening your secure container. Excuse me.
Yeah, like putting on enough armor and stuff,
Yeah. Okay.
throwing rigs on the ground and items and things like that. Don't know. Yeah. So then he mentioned changing like scope reticle brightness, which would be kind of neat. You can change it, like you
Yeah.
can dim it down at night, so it's not like blinding on certain not optics. Would be really cool. And he just like he broadly brushed across like a quest rework, but he didn't give any details. That was like all in the same breath almost.
Yeah.
These parts they're like linked together in my sheet here. Then what else have I got going on? Is there anything else like guns related? Oh yeah, alternative stances being worked on still. So like the shoulder swapping, they're still working on that. They actually intend to do that, which would be really cool to be able to left peek instead of right peek. It like fix the sort of right peek meta thing,
Yeah.
which would be nice because then yeah, you don't have this like huge disadvantage doing the left peek because you can swap over. I don't know
Right.
whether you'll have some kind of disadvantage or accuracy debuff or something. And it'd be cool if you could like choose your handedness. Can you imagine? There'd be like a meta about like, oh, you want to choose left hand because there's 60% of peaks are left-handed peaks in the game and like 40% of rights. You always you always want to pick left hand. But like somebody surprised you. It's really like I used to do a bit of fencing at university, and it's like
Oh.
you come up against a lefty player and you're just like, whoa, it's like freaky because like most
Yeah.
people are like right-handed. So you play against some guy who's got like he's on the left pleat on the
Oh,
left
that's
peak game.
cool. He's got like a completely like you're just completely thrown off, and he's
Yeah,
probably used to playing against righties, so it's like this.
exactly,
Yeah, that's interesting.
exactly.
What if you
Yeah,
got like a perk too? Like if you picked lefty and then you had your gun left hand, you got like a bonus, accuracy or recoil control because you are a lefty and you're using the gun in your left hand.
oh yeah, I
And then
don't know.
if you had to like commit to a left or right preference, and then you got like a bonus for that.
Power says left hand, you can't use the orc.
I'm sure there's plenty of guns
I guess like
where
the
that's the
default optic
case.
for sure, because it's like it's canted to one side, right?
Oh yeah. That'd be
I guess
you
like
just like lean your
yeah.
head awkwardly to the left.
I wonder like left hand with the canted, you can just already see down it. Like the normal canted, it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just right there. Right?
You don't even have to tilt your head, yeah.
Didn't even have to tilt it, like kind of funny. Yeah, no, so that's gonna be kind of cool. What else? Let me just see. I'm just trying to make sure that I do this in some kind of like vague, sensible order. We got okay. I think that's it about the guns. So he talked about a load of other stuff. So like kind of jumping back to the start, he was talking about Unity 2021 and like all the optimization and the graphics that they're upgrading, and they're apparently going to do a big patch in May supposedly this year. So should be coming pretty soon. The big like headline number that they threw out there, which is they have tested a new system where they can run 60 players on streets, and they've already done it, and it works. So Nikita's like, he sounded very, very confident about it. He was like, and nobody believes me in chat. He was like, no one believes me, but he was like, you keep thinking that, whatever. Like, it works. We've already done it. And he basically said like, 60 is just a number. It could be more. Like, it's fully scalable. And he said in more words that the core of the networking, they've rewritten it. I mean, it sounds amazing, right? He said there's a lot
Yeah.
of the core, like a lot of cool stuff that they've actually spent time, gone back. He said they're fed up of basically making things work around how it is,
Right.
and they've just on some of these things they've just gone back and just rewritten it all. I mean, like, and Tarkov Twitter was going nuts. That was like the one thing that I saw, people going like 60 players, and then other people being like, they've rewritten the code, like they've rewritten some parts of it. So yeah, I mean that could be that could honestly it could be insane. It could
Yeah.
be insane.
I wonder if 60 players mean 60 PMCs when they tested it, or if it's like, 60 players, like a mix of PMC and scavs. I mean, not that it really matters. I'm just thinking, like, in practicality, when that comes out, how would that look like? But
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but again, he said like it's kind of it can kind of be whatever.
right.
Um, so it doesn't really matter what the number is, but like I think 60 is like a number to sort of shock us, right? So we're like, oh my goodness. They said like they redesigned the core of the game, blah 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 blah, and like yeah, all of these things are kind of like over the next 6 months that they're trying to do, 6 to 8 months. So I'm not sure exactly what's done now, what's not done, but he said that they've tested 60 players with the new system and it works. Like whether that's ready to roll out into the game is another question, but he said it does actually work. And yeah, the three things that they're working on, which is obvious, but it's sound, optimizations, and networking. And those are the three main branches that they're covering with this kind of like technical sort of session that they're doing. Like they're still doing all the other content. We've seen there's actually loads of content that they're talking about, but the core guys like are working on the actual base principles of the game, working on those three things. And so they're looking at the hit range, position accuracy, increasing FPS, and decreasing desync was like one of the main things they were talking about. And that was just like in broad overview terms. But then he like went really into detail about the culling system
Yeah.
for rendering optimizations, which is really cool. Actually, he showed like some of the dev side tools where like flying through streets in like FreeCam and showing as you like move, like he just went through a wall and all the stuff just was like just all loaded. And he was like, yeah, everything's like super fast now. They've like really optimized that a lot. Like he showed that there was a whole bunch of like automatic stuff that they've done. So they've like somehow been able to use some of the tools. Maybe it's another Unity thing, like some more extra Unity tools for moving over. I don't know. But he said we've been able to implement a bunch of like automated tools to be able to do the culling. So the computer works it out, right? We don't have to go through everything manually, which is really, really awesome. And so switching on and off of rendering objects being included and having them not render anymore, on particularly on Streets and Lighthouse, is like a big part of how they're going to make those maps run with more FPS and more players and have it just be better for everybody. And he said in Streets in particular, like LOD management, i.e. managing like level of detail at different distances is like not done very well right now on Streets. And it's like the background buildings and stuff are like, I guess they're just loading in too high a detail at distance. So, and then there's also some like memory consumption stuff that could help. And it was quite funny that he was talking about glass just being like such a pain. He said like, devs always struggle with glass because it's like shaders and whatever. It's like it's processing heavy and all this stuff. And he said there's a lot of glass on the streets, so we need to fix that too. But it sounded cool. Honestly, sounded really, really cool. Like some of this stuff about the graphical optimizations they're going to make and some of the FPS increases and yada yada.
Yeah, it all sounds really great. Yeah, I mean, I just wait and see, but it sounds like a lot of really good things that they're doing. And I mean, from experience in Rust, I know Uni 2021 was like a big deal. So I'm glad we're moving towards that. So yeah, it all sounds really good.
Yeah. And then, like sound wise, he obviously admitted that they need to do a lot of work on the sound, which is fair enough. Like everybody knows it, he knows it. This one is different, right? This one they have to manually do a lot of the occlusion. Like they can't just automatically do this. And he showed like a wireframe of interchange, like the interchange occlusion zones has been pulled out of the map, and it's like really complicated. It's of course, but there's like loads of stuff that he was talking about over the next 6 months. I mean, we'll see how it makes it, what makes it in, what doesn't, and whether they get stuff to work or not. And so he said like it's a second iteration of the location system. So I presume once they finally do interchange, then they can go back through the different maps and like retweak them, because once interchange is done, I think they've all had like one pass.
I think that's right.
I think that's it. So right now they've got like they want to look at the indoor outdoor changes and like basement into main area changes, because right now they've only got, as we
Indoor,
know,
outdoor.
yeah, indoor outdoor and like a hard line between the two. So they want to. There's like loads of experimentation that they were talking about. So they were looking at. I'm not even sure where to start, but they're looking at blending indoor and outdoor sounds so that it's less of a delineated barrier and more natural when you're moving in and out of places. Things about, if someone's shooting a weapon that's like near a room or near buildings or whatever, so they can do some calculation there, which is like super cool. And then they mentioned this. He mentioned this, like they're building a subsystem at the moment for diffraction, which is what we talked about previously. Because I think when you looked through the Oculus details, the Oculus audio details, they don't do that, right? That's like not part of the core system. They need you to build that to then interact with the Oculus engine. So they're having to build a subsystem for diffraction around objects to stop the whole. There's three pillars, and this is the scav goes
Yeah.
right. So like they need to build that to fix it so that sound bends around objects and that
Right.
you get some kind of blended thing depending on how occluded the source is relative to its like immediate surroundings. So they're having to build that right now. There is some stuff that they've got apparently baked into Oculus, and they're going to experiment with the existing like solution, but like who knows? And then they were talking about reverberation too, like dynamic based on the room size. So the smaller the room, versus the bigger the room, you'll be able to tell. It sounds insane. So they've got a lot of work to do.
Even I think in this section he even mentioned like different material types, like
Yeah,
wood and metal and whatnot, which is like, yeah, as you said, a lot of work to do.
a hell of a lot of work. Hell of a lot of work. And like as part of that, they are changing the subsonic and silence cartridges stuff. There's like a whole module about this, which he talked about like the durability of silences that's going to be changed, but it all kind of comes in as part of the package of sound, because so you're going to have suppressors and silence rounds are going to, I guess, like work properly now, because they don't necessarily work properly. I haven't tested it like fully, but I know
Yeah.
there's some like there's some things that don't work very well, and some things that sound suppressed when they shouldn't be, or they sound subsonic when they shouldn't be, or supersonic when they shouldn't be, whatever, right? But they're going to combine this with something that I've wanted them to do for ages, which is the durability of silencers. And as the durability goes down, the sound's going to change. It won't suppress as well, which is cool. I think that's
Yeah,
neat.
I
I
do
actually quite
as
like
well.
that. And it's going to have like visual changes as well, and audio changes, and have an effect upon accuracy too, and that kind of stuff. I'd like more durability to be included in the game. It gives you more scope to have kind of like top tier loot be like high durability, or like durability buffs and stuff like that. Like it gives you more scope to do things. Like right now, everything's just you just max your durability, and that's that. It's like a non mechanic. But this would be cool. It's kind of like, yeah, do you want to just constantly be cycling suppressors? Like not really, right? Like that's a bit more painful than cycling out the weapon base. Especially, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think that could be really, really cool. I think it'd be neat. So like, yeah, a lot of sound work, ton of sound work, which makes sense because right now it sucks. He mentioned about the a recall rework, and in his words, he said it's all about auto compensation. So that's it. Like the recall conversation right now is all about auto compensation, and like
Mm-hmm.
maybe we'll see some more details about it in like summer or maybe later. But he said he didn't really know exactly how he wanted to do it just yet. But lots of people want the recall reworked. He thought it was fine. He was like, people don't really like it, and we'll rework it.
I was honestly surprised that he said like he thinks it was fine,
Mm.
um, which I think to me indicates that maybe he had some part to do with the design of it. Because we've spoken about it plenty of times, but I think it's kind of more akin to an RPG like system the way it's set up now, and I suspect that the original idea was you level up these skills, you're leveling up your PMC and his ability to control the recoil. That was sort of the
Yeah.
idea there. But since they've like nerfed all the skills from people complaining about the skills hardly do anything now. I mean, I don't even know the stats on some of these. I think you like get a level up and it's like 0.5% or something. Like it's incredibly low.
Yeah.
Uh, so I would love to know more about what he's doing. 'Cause I really hope they don't do the pattern route where it's like you just memorize patterns, but
I hope they don't do that. I don't think that they will. I
ah,
can't see them going to that from what we have.
yeah, I don't know, but I really hope that's not the case, but
It'll be
we'll see.
so opposite to the way that the philosophy of the game goes. I mean, you never know. You never know, but I just can't imagine it. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll be learning patterns eventually. I'll be forced to, you know. And then the other main thing, actually, there's like three. I guess there's a couple more things. So the Streets expansion, which is coming soon. We've seen some teases. I mean, it's like we talked about it
Mhm.
last time. It's just like some random rooms. Like, okay, but that's pretty neat. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I'd like to play a bit more Streets before it happens. Like, I'm still not fully there. Like, Streets is quite a detailed map. You know, it takes a while to learn, and hopefully, if we get some more FPS improvements, then more people will be able to enjoy the map and go and play there and stuff. But again, he like reiterated there's going to be the BTR. They said there's lots of mechanics around it. This is the taxi that's going to take you about, and you can hire it to do whatever. He said you could talk about a whole podcast talking about just the BTR stuff. So I'm like intrigued, and there's going to be more information soon. And that eventually we're going to have at least two bosses on Streets, maybe like two or three bosses, but he said at least two. I imagine the car dealership boss is coming first because he spent a bit of time in there and he was talking about how it's going to be like an impregnable fortress, a little bit like the rogue camp, but presumably like more hardcore. It's like more concentrated and stuff, right? The guy's got like the PKM, there's like the full auto 7.62 554 machine gun. That's going to be fun to play against with AI logic, but you know. That's cool. I don't know what the other ones are going to be. The other Streets bosses. I'm sure there's probably information about it, but I've actually forgotten what they've said. I just remember the car dealership stuff.
Isn't there one guy that they tease where he's got the PKM or some type of machine gun and it's like a backpack belt fed thing where like
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's like
that'd
the
be crazy.
saw or the PK. He said like someone said somewhere that I think maybe that was in Nolan's video actually. That it was like the saw or the PKM with like the big backpack. I don't know exactly which one's going to get added, but it's gonna be nuts no matter what. It's gonna be super nuts. And then yeah, the last two things that he said that I got written down on my list that I thought of interest was firstly adding light keeper mechanics. We all know that he's not actually an in-raid trader right now. It's a little bit awkward, you know, like, bit of an awkward addition to the game. The fact that didn't happen, but he said, look, it's it's high tier stuff. Whatever, we're going to add that. We're not talking about it. You're going to have to find out for yourself. Fair enough. Um, and the other thing was about arena. Like arena's kind of been teased in the Ryzhy video, which is pretty sick. And he said there's going to be two game modes: team fight, 5v5, and then a shootout, which is like 2v2 and 3v3. There's like first person spectator mode, four locations. I couldn't actually understand what he was saying. So we'd seen the airport and the hotel, right? The hotel's called Equator. I don't know what the was like. It's like the terminal bit, right? I don't know, like whatever it's called. So you got like the terminal thing, Equator, the hotel, another map which he mentioned, which I just couldn't hear what he was saying, and the sawmill. I guess that other one. I guess the other one must be. There was a screenshot of it. It must be into like somewhere around interchange because I think there was a picture of Burger Spot, wasn't there? One of the arena teasers. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not
Maybe
sure.
I'm wrong on that. I'm not sure. But I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Well, one of the things I know he said was some of these are you'll recognize from Contract Wars.
Hmm.
So I think they're like reimaginations of some of those maps, perhaps. I'm not too sure, but
Yeah. Yeah. So with that, that's pretty cool. It's gonna be, yeah, as we know, custom games. You can be able to run your own tournaments without BSG there, which is neat. They're actually adding something that sounds interesting. Is they're adding a new faster matchmaker, probably required for something
yeah,
like Arena. And he said if that works well, then they'll be using that in the main EFT2.
should be
That
great.
sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty good. Like it's technically speaking, right? One of the huge benefits of not having skill-based lobbies or whatever. You could just match anybody with anyone. You'd think the matching algorithm would be really
he's right.
straightforward, right? It's like you don't even have to do any MMR calculations or anything. Like it's nuts. You just slap the people together. There you go,
Yeah,
Timmy off with Mr. Juicy, and boom, you've got a raid.
yeah,
So yeah, let's speed that up, eh? Speed that up. So that about Arena and stuff. And they're obviously higher tick rate servers and that kind of thing for Arena. So
yeah. It seems like they're investing a lot in improving these different uh technical shortcomings, we'll say, the loading, the performance, this tick rate, net code. And it makes me think that they are investing in Arena, because he mentioned something about, like, yeah, you can spectate. It's going to be like compatible with esports organizers. They can do all their settings and game modes and whatnot.
Mhm.
And it makes me think they're kind of like investing in this idea of having a more, you know, sustainable long term product lineup, where Arena's the esporty side, and it's a competitor in that field. And because if esports, Dota 2 and different Fortnite, even, I think it's like by far the most money has been filtered through those tournaments. But anyways, yeah, so I think that's cool. It's a really good thing that we can get some of these benefits passed down to the Tarkov base game itself.
Yeah, yeah. It's always something I've speculated as sounding like what they were going to be doing with normal EFTs. They've kind of got like a test bed, and then they go, "Oh, this is great and works well." If it goes to the base game, sounds really cool. I like the idea of that.
Mhm.
Good, good. But I like, yeah, I'm a bit hyped. I'm a bit hyped. Arena looks fun because there was actually an Arena video too,
Was there?
separately. I think. I believe so. Where was that? Am I just making stuff up now?
I don't know. You probably watched on two speed. Everything
I
probably
don't even
blurred
know
together.
now. I don't even know now. Everything's just everything's a huge blur.
He goes
At the
just
minute.
juggling the baby one hand and juggling the phone in the other.
Two speed twitch on the other. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just freaking nuts, dude. So anyway, I thought I saw something. Thought I saw something about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure now. Anyway, I think that's basically everything that he talked about and that happened on Talk of TV, which is
Yeah.
which is awesome. So we know that there's a roadmap coming
Yes. Yes.
with Nolan. So Nice Guy put out this video, which is his version of what everything that he thinks, like from broad brushstrokes, what he thinks that they've told us across the many years. And it was interesting. I mean, there's nothing that we didn't know already if you follow him closely. Some stuff I'd kind of forgotten about or whatever. This is why it's nice to get I don't know, a revamp through some of these things. But he's saying going to be working with BSG. They're going to be putting together an actual roadmap. And Nikita did say in this Tarkov TV, he said, he actually mentioned it and said, we've done, Nolan's put out a load of stuff. He's been tracking it and helping us like figure out what we've told everyone that we're going to do. And there, some things will need to be delayed and be put into DLC. Some things will need to be just cut completely because we've said we're going to do a ton of stuff and we can't do everything. Otherwise, it's going to be another 3 to 4, 5 years worth of development time, which is like fair enough. I'm glad that he's admitted it. It's good.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, to release the game and actually get it shipped, they're going to have to cut some of these features. So we'll see. I don't know when it's going to come out, the actual official roadmap, but probably soon-ish, right? Probably this month, I would think. And then we'll see what they are not going to do. Like, there's loads of things that they don't need to do. And there's a ton of stuff that Nolan went through in his video. Go and watch Nice Guy's video about like the full roadmap if you're interested. But there's like loads of crazy stuff. Like what did he say? There was like some stuff he was just like, "There's no way this is going to get added." He was talking about dismemberment, right? Which apparently they said at some point, which I guess is partly the body dragging, knocked out state, all this kind of stuff. But he's just like, I don't see this being added. I just don't think that's going to happen. Like one thing I'd forgotten about it was that he'd said that they actually got snow working. Like they've got advanced weather is planned, like winter and advanced weather is planned, and they got snow working, but it's too taxing, so they can't actually release it. So I was like, oh, that's fun. I'd forgot. I don't know where that was, but I'd forgotten that was even a thing. Because that'd be sick. Like snowy Tarkov would be awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Kind of
Do you
makes
remember-
sense though, because they like to do things very realistic. So it can't just be like a a GIF effectively of snow raining across your screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's gonna make all the streams look like way better, isn't it? Just having the snow as well on top of all the. Oh my god. And to be honest, most of the ground will be white, so at least it won't
Yeah.
be all leaves and stuff anymore. I'm sure they'll find a way to make it encode terribly for Twitch. Um, do you remember that they were going to release a Scav Life DLC? I
I've heard
vaguely
about
remember now.
this, either from Clean or Nolan, but yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
about this. Yeah.
and like I'd forgotten about that. Completely forgotten about that. There's just so much stuff that he talked a little bit about open world, which I'd forgotten about again.
How could you?
Because I'd like not forgotten about open world, but I'd kind of like made my own mind up that open world wasn't coming and that it was going to be connected maps.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them was like, no, no, no. Like the plan is to like link all the maps together properly, and like if they can't make it work, then they'll group them. Which I don't remember.
What, like customs,
Yeah,
reserve, and maybe shoreline is one new map.
something like that. And then streets on its own, and then like maybe two other groupings of maps. I don't know. And he was like, there's a big underground network of tunnels in the lore, which connects them all together. So maybe that's how we get around and all this stuff. But yeah, I was just like, oh god, I don't know. I think I personally have kind of written off map, like actual open world map to map. I'm just expecting it to be restricted, so you can't necessarily go to your stash. Like if you walk from path to shoreline to path to lighthouse, like you can't necessarily go to your stash. Stuff like this. That's how I still imagine it. But
we got like what, another 2 years plus post development for it to come to fruition. So it's not entirely out of the question.
Yeah, we'll see. Was there anything else interesting? Yeah, he talked broadly about like we'll have to see when the game fully ships, but about like the flea market might be locked behind the Intel Center because you need a laptop or whatever to actually even get onto it. He said that all the traders are still technically like they haven't ever counted the fact that all the traders are supposed to be in raid, like actually physically present in raid. I guess we need to see Lightkeeper doing it first. We need that mechanism to be in the game.
Yeah.
Before we see any of that stuff. Dude, there were so many things. It's like there's so much stuff he was talking about. Radiation, hazardous environment, permadeath, addiction, skills, rework on all the stuff that's like all the ones that aren't active at the moment. Radios, and gas grenades, incendiary stuff like rocket launchers, PMC karma, the UN faction, minefields between the different maps. Honestly, man, it's mad. Clans and a group stash. I haven't heard about that forever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this is almost just like too much for me to like take in.
I know. I watched the video and I was like,
yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like I'll believe it when I see it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. It's just like there's just so much here. It's just like I can't. My finite little gamer brain cannot conceive all this stuff at once. You know what I mean?
I know. I kind of felt the same way a little bit. I also watched that one on 2x2, so I was just like, that's my new life hack. It's like if you really want to need to watch a video, like Twitch is actually annoying because it doesn't have this, but if you really need to like smash through some stuff that you like, you want to watch it, but you don't really have time, you're like, it's just like it's long or whatever. 2 times speed, closed captions. That's the way.
Yeah.
Two sources of information. So if you don't catch it, you can see it. If you don't read it quick enough, you hear it. You're like it's like doing 2 GPUs, SLI.
Yeah, 2x is pretty intense, but
it is intense.
It
gets easier once you start watching everything on 1.5.
Yeah. I mean, I do 2x for editing, so like I'm kind of used to it. But prior to that, 1.25 or 1.5 was a good pace for me.
Yeah, it's like have you ever played Guitar Hero?
A little bit, not extensively.
Guitar Hero is fun. It's like one of those games where I was well into it for a while. It's like one of those games where you start off and you're like, okay, I'm like pressing the things, and then you try to go to like a hard difficulty, and you're just like completely overwhelmed. You're like, oh god, it's like trying to drive a car for the first time, or whatever. So you're like trying to do all the things, and it's all like manual. There's no muscle memory, and it's horrible. But after a while, if you do it enough, then the notes just flow, and you just do your thing. Yeah, it's kind of like it's a bit like that. I think you get used to the fast speed, and then you can like step it up.
You need to do a Guitar Hero stream. I want to watch you shred on some Guitar Hero.
Oh, oh god, I'm not even sure if I have this stuff anymore. I'd have to go and find it because they're quite bulky. I haven't played it for ages, but yeah, it used to be good. I was never like insane, but some of the fast stuff I was like, yeah, do pretty well on it. So it was good. Good fun. Always used to get it out at parties. I had like the 2 guitars, and I had it on the PC. So you could just like plug it into the PC, and people like.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I thought it
Yeah,
was
the PC
only
port.
a console
And I
exclusive.
bought like cheapo like PC USB versions.
Wait, what? Oh, the guitar.
Guitar
Oh,
controllers, yeah,
okay.
because they were expensive, man. They were really expensive.
I thought you meant
But
the
you could-
game came on a
No.
USB flash drive. I was like, wait, what? I don't know if that's legal, Giga.
Yeah, but that was a good time. It was a good time. So yeah, man, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot coming. I'm excited for all the stuff that we talked about. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see what comes when. Like, even the things that just Nikita's talked about.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, if we get any type of progress on any one of the things mentioned, whether it's networking, tick rate, player count, queuing times, any one of those things would just make the experience of getting pegged by Tarkov so much smoother.
It's a golden star. No?
Yeah, it really is the golden star of Tarkov.
Although I'm not sure if you'd want that anyway. Anyway, let's end that analogy. It's like a heat bomb, isn't it? You don't want to do that. That sounds bad.
Well,
that sounds bad.
No,
you don't.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no, okay. So the one last thing I do remember him talking about, and I was like, no, was he talked about the boss being at the car dealership.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there was going to be mines there. He's going to have me fortified. I'm just like, no, not the mines that it's to kill you when you hit another mine unless you wait 5 minutes and stand still. No, dude, I hate that mechanic so much. But I had to get that out there because I saw mines in your text somewhere. That reminded me of.
Oh, dude, I've been playing Lighthouse recently, and I was just like, oh, let's just go and look over the road camp.
Mm-hmm.
Completely, like, I haven't played Lighthouse since the update, really. I did some very basic quests. Completely forgot that they changed the mines up on the top of the hill section. Sprinted across, face first into a claymore. Yes, they do instantly kill you. I was like,
wait, there's a claymore?
Boy. There's claymores up on the top of the ridge line.
I remember telling you about this. So they put them there to stop people from sniping the rogues, and yes. They're to the right of the road camp on that ridge line. Where exactly are they?
Yeah, the eastern ridge line, like the ridge line that you snipe from, the big one.
What? Yeah, that's okay.
They're up there, so it's just like, we'll put this really big ridge line up here so you can snipe the rogues. It's like, oh, too many people are sniping the rogues. We're going to put claymores on the ridge lines. It's like, freaking out, and you can't blow them up, right? You know this because you tried, I think, when they first put them on the Lighthouse one.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I wish you could blow them up. Like, this sucks. Or disable them just by shooting them, whatever. Like, they don't have to blow up, but like, just disable them. They'll fall over if you shoot it with a bullet. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. It
insta killed me for sure. They just blasted me from quite a decent distance too. I crested the ridgeline, and it was probably it was like ridge and then a little mini ridge ahead, probably a good 6 meters or something, and it was just like, you're dead instantly. I was like, yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, that was good.
Is there a speedrun.com entry for Tarkov Lightkeeper any %? No beacon. I've seen some of the videos, and they got it mastered down where you like walk backwards crouched into it, and it like blows up, you don't take any damage, and they just like sprint to the next location. It's so funny. There's got to be a speedrun entry for it, surely.
Did they change it so you can't do that now?
I
thought they changed the mines on the Lighthouse Bridge where you couldn't actually do it anymore. I think they changed it so they just kill you.
Did they?
I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're still away. But I feel like they amended it after so many people getting across. And there was a path, and I think they changed it so that they were like, nah, we don't like this. Stop doing that. I'm not sure. But yeah, I was just like, I'm notorious for getting hit by mines and then not checking the map and then getting hit by mine again the next stream because I forget and don't check the map. And everyone's like, there's mines there. But by the time that I've checked chat, it's like 15 seconds delayed, and then I've already hit the mine. And everyone's like, but we told you. And I'm just like, yeah, but, you know, it's just whatever. It's fun and immersive to watch me crawl across the map as a scav with no legs.
Tarkov. All right. Well, anything else, Giga? I think that about wraps it up.
About it, dude. I'm just trying to find a vertex. That's it. Just trying to find the stuff. Trying to find the items. I'm just like cursed. Cursed trying to find any items. You know, like put out a video about MCC and GPSA, and there's like so many people who are just like, yeah, I found both in like 3 raids. Oh, I found both of them in like 2 raids. Oh, I've played 10 raids and I found 7 of each. I'm just like, why did it take me 50 raids to find one? Oh, what is wrong with it? I'm just bad at looting. I'm just not very good at looting. I've never been good at looting. I hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, again, I'm like, you know, 10. I'm like starting to crank up the lighthouse raids. I'm like 10. Everyone's just like, every time I go, it's again this thing of like doing it on stream too. It's like I'm probably 10, 50, actually maybe more, maybe like 10. We're sort of in the 10 to 15 lighthouse raids range now. And I'm like, yeah, we found one vertex. Okay. And everyone's like, every time I'm on lighthouse, everyone's like, yeah, nah, man, you need to go reserve. And as soon as I step into reserve, the whole chat's just like, nah, man, you need to go lighthouse. It's like, ah, like it's just crazy. But we'll get there in the end. I've been trying to do lighthouse because I've been when I played that last time, I kind of focused around the road camp and sort of sniping around there and doing that stuff because Lightkeeper didn't exist then, so that was really the thing. And all the loot was in the chalets, but like as you know, like I get to a point in the white where like I don't really care about looting that much.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of interesting going back and like doing some PvP around the chalets, like having to look for a specific item. Again, this is the thing about the GPSA and the MCC, like forced me to go to labs because I wouldn't go otherwise because it's not like I'm going to go for the loot because like I don't care about that, so I don't need to go there. But I had to go to get the items. Same with Lighthouse. It's like, well, I had the choice of Lighthouse or Reserve. It seemed like there were more spawns on Lighthouse, and I kind of know Reserve well enough. I feel like I know those rooms. It's okay. Whereas Lighthouse chalets, I really don't know them that well. Like I'd never used the Merin key before, for example, because I just never done those runs. So I've got like the Merin key and the Hillside House key, and we're like looting these for the first time. Like, yeah, I'm broadening my player horizon, right? Like, get the opportunity to broaden it. I'm going to take it.
Who the hell are you? You're not GigaBeef. He was this imposter labs main looting keyed rooms. Who are you? What have you done to GigaBeef?
Exactly. I know. I'm you know what? I'm like, once we're done with this, I'm gonna play a bit more labs. Honestly, I'm gonna play a bit more labs going forwards. It was a good time. It was a good time.
That's cool.
Like I feel now I'm in the swing of it. I feel like we can. I haven't played it since. I think that's probably fair enough because I basically played it for like a month.
Really? Dang, dude. Dang,
dude, it was. I played 50 raids. I played 50 raids, and I only play 10 hours a week.
I mean, if you're having fun while doing it, then kudos to you. But I fear that if that was me, I would just be like, why am I torturing myself? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and then again, all the people going like, "Oh, why don't you go labs for Vertex? Labs has got loads of Vertex." And I'm like, I played 50 raids on labs. I didn't find any Vertex at all.
Dang.
I found none. I did not find a single one. I found 2 GPUs. I found 7 MCCs. I found 2 GPSAs and died with one of them. And I found 1 LEDX. Absolutely no Vertex at all.
LEDX though, kind of pog.
LEDX really good. I finished my quest whilst trying to get the MCCs and the GPSAs, which is kind of fun.
That's your trade-off. You found the LEDX, so the Tarkov gods had to account for that in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and the GPU, which I also needed for the mechanic quest actually, because I'm not really a big GPU because I don't play that much interchange. I'm not a big GPU farmer either, so I was like, I actually found the 2 final GPUs that I needed on labs.
Oh, and you can't craft them because you need the MC. Okay, yeah.
You needed the
I see
GPSA
what they've done.
Because you need the GPSA to get to Intel Center 3, and that was the one I couldn't find. The one that I did find was the one that let me do solar power. So I was like, okay, that's nice. I've got solar power, but like I can't craft the GPUs. I'm like gatekept by this Intel Center 3 thing. I was like, oh my god, it's just like so painful. But I kind of like, I don't know, I relish having that kind of thing to do where it's optional. I feel like I want to do it. So I've gone and done it. Like the game hasn't said like you can't get to trader level 4 without doing this particular quest. You know, it's like that's so painful. Sort of how I'm feeling about the Vertex is a little bit because it's like you can't do peacekeeping mission until you find 2 of these really irritating electronics items, and there's no craft for them now because they're behind. Because there used to be one for the Vertex, right? And lots of people come in being like, "Oh, you can just craft the Vertex," right? And there's like, "No, you can't." Even at Intel Center 3, you still need to do the Lightkeeper quests for them. They're now locked behind like you have to do assessment 1, 2, 3, the key to the tower, blah 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 blah, all of these things before you get the Vertex craft unlocked. It's just like, dude, by the time I'm there, like, oh, I'll have the Vertex. I don't need it then. I don't need it then.
Like,
I'm yeah.
But like, why though? Because why? It's not like I ever crafted. Like you only did the craft for the quest. So why? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, let's put in the craft so you can do your quests. But then now let's lock that craft behind a different quest. I don't know. It just doesn't really. Like, it would kind of make sense if you could sell the vertexes and, people could buy them and use them, but they're effectively just like whatever they're valued at for their barter item / trader price. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense. But hey, I'm just a gamer. What do I know?
Yep. It's tough. But it's cool. It's interesting. It's something different. Like, I'm having a very different wipe this time than normal. So I'm sort of relishing it, I've moved on from, I'm trying to move away from the AK-101 as well. God, I just keep using that gun. I used it basically exclusively on labs because I was like, I want to use the thing that I know, and I'm going to use it every raid. And I've been starting to mix in. I've gone back. I tried to use the AKMs a bit because I was just like, what's the difference between the RD and the mutant and the AKM? Like, they're the same, really, aren't they? No, they're really not. The RD is so much better than the AKM.
Yeah,
it's so much better, honestly. Like, just the recoil profile is so much better. Like, I've been using the RD a bunch now, and it's real good. I had like an insane fight in one of the chalets, and just like ran through 3 people. It was actually nuts because I had like three man. I think it was maybe a duo and a solo or 3 solos. I'm not really sure. I don't think they were all on one team, but I was just like, oh my God, it felt so good. Just like running around with the RD, just gunning everybody down. So that's like my new gun du jour. But I keep running out of BP, so I have to go. Actually, I have to remind myself to go craft some more after this finishes, so I don't run out. Because keep having to stack it with PS and then running out.
Dude, yeah. You talked about recoil profile again. I'll be honest, man. I was thinking about this. I don't know if I can play another Tarkov wipe with the same recoil system, dude. Tarkov SP completely spoiled me, man.
Oh no,
completely spoiled me. I mean, I'll probably check it out, but I don't know, man. It's real tough, man. It's real tough. Once you've seen the light, it's hard to go back to the dark ages.
I can imagine. Sometimes it's better not to see.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss, as they say.
Yep.
All right. Well, that concludes the cast. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you all next week.
Catch you guys later.
All right.